Hi, my name is Kanish Sinha. I'm one of the managing partners at Stillwater. One of the questions that a lot of participants from our leadership program have is about sustainability. They say, we've got all these big ideas and things that we want to achieve, and we're really, really excited, but we've tried this before, and after some time, the enthusiasm fades away. And, I always remember one of the quotes from Atomic Habits by James Clear, which says that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. So what I'm going to present to you is what I feel is a best practice way of managing your life. It's a system through which you can manage your life. So I'm going to ask you to download an app called Notion, import in a template that Stillwater has created called the Game of Life template, and then I'll tell you how to use that, right? So let me take you first of all to a website, which is www.notion.so, right? And once you reach there, you can create an account for yourself. So over here on the top right, you can see it says Get Notion Free. So if you click on that, right, over here you can sign in with your Gmail or your Apple ID or even some other address. But if you are Android, I would just take the Google ID. And if you have an iPhone, I would just take your Apple ID. That makes it easier. Let me log in with my son's email ID. He won't be happy being signed up for an app without his permission, but I pay for his school fees, so this is fine. Okay, so I've signed up my poor son for Notion. Over here, it's asking us to tell them about yourself. You can just skip this, right, and then pick the For Myself option when it asks you how you're planning to use Notion. And there, my poor son is now signed up as a member of Notion. What you can do is, first of all, just delete these links on the left-hand side, just to clear up the clutter. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is in the chat, in the browser window at the top, type in tinyurl.com/Praxeum App, right? And then what it will do is it takes you to the Praxeum app that's created by Stillwater, and you can click over here on duplicate, and what that will do is will import this template into your Notion account, right? So let's duplicate this over here. And over here you can see that the app is now inside my son's Notion account, and you can just expand this menu bar on the left-hand side, right? Now the first thing I would do is even before I explain all these areas, I would download the actual native app. So if you're on Windows, you can go down to the left and try Notion for Windows. If you're on Mac, you can download it for Mac. If you're on an iPhone or an Android phone, you can download it there. You can access this on iPad or just take it through the browser. But I would get the native app because you can get reminders and notifications through that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the apps. And what you will see is on the left-hand side, here is my phone app that I'm sharing from my Android phone. And on the right-hand side, let me put the Notion app, right, which is on my desktop. So on the right-hand side, you can see the desktop I've got in light theme, and the left side, my phone, I put in dark theme just to show the contrast. But you can change the themes to whatever you prefer. So on the desktop, for example, to change it into dark theme, I just press Control Shift and L on Windows, and that changes the look of it. It might be easier on your eyes. Now, just to keep the contrast, I'm just going to keep the desktop in light mode so you can see the difference between that and the phone mode, right? Now, what I'm going to do is let me fill out the life areas and goals pages so you see how that's done. So let me go to the life areas. You can see this page, this will be blank for you when you open it up, but this is fully populated, so you can see what my page looks like as a template. At the top over here, you can see if you hover over something which says Show Description, and if you click on that, it'll give you an explanation of what the page is about and these instructions on how to fill it. So if you forget, you can always just come over here, click, and remember. At the bottom of the menu, there's also app instructions. So this video that you're watching is there as well, along with some other video on how to use Notion, right? So here are different areas of my life, health, relationships, fun, work, self-expression, etc. And the second column is my satisfaction with those areas of my life. So very happy with the way my relationships are just now, but not so happy with self-expression. I'm writing a book just now called The Greatest Story Ever, and I haven't really moved on that. So I'm, 20% completion, I'm 20% satisfaction on that. Let me add in a new life area, right? So let's say work. And let me put a satisfaction level. I'm pretty happy with how work is going just now. So let me put 90%. And then you can see that this is rearranged the life areas so that they're in order of descending satisfaction, right? What you can also see over here is that the average completion level for this is blank. That's because I don't have any underlying goals assigned to this life area yet, right? This column is really taking the average completion levels of the underlying goals so I can see how complete it is. So to add some goals to this, let me go to the goals tab, right? And let's say under work, 2 goals. Next year, I want to reach LinkedIn followers of 100,000. I think that's going to be important for my marketing. And let's say I want to meet 50 L&D heads in the course of the year, right? How far am I on LinkedIn 100,000? Well, I'm about 35,000 or something like that. So let's say 35% over here, and 50 L&D heads. Let's say we're already in touch with about 15, so that's about 30% as well, right? And what I'm going to do is take these 2 goals and assign them to the life area work that I've just created. So I've just clicked on that. There's work over there, and I'm going to assign this to work as well, right? So you can see, actually, just to make this slightly different, yeah, okay, well, this is fine. This is 35% and 30%. They are slightly different. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the life areas, and you can see that underneath the life areas, I have now 2 goals, LinkedIn 100,000 and meet L&D, 50 L&D heads. These are now goals assigned to that life area. And one of them was 30%, one of them 35%. So this is telling me the average completion level of my goals is 32.5%. However, even though the completion level is not that high, I'm pretty happy with things are going. We haven't even started the year, so I'm not really worried about this being 100% or not. In fact, we haven't even started the year, so I'm pretty happy with how that's going. This is satisfaction, how happy I am with the progress, and this is the level of progress that is actually there, right? Now, if I want to delete a life area, I can right-click on this and just press delete over here. Similarly, on the phone, there's no right-click on the phone. Sorry, I just clicked through. There's no right-click on the phone, so what you do is click on these 3 dots, and then you can go and delete it over here, right? Similarly, if you wanted to click a goal and delete that, click on that. Let's say sibling time. I'm fed up of my sister. Don't want to spend any time with her. Let me just go over here, scroll down, and I can delete that here. But I love my sister very much, so I will not delete that goal just now. Okay, so let me go back to the main page again. This is a number that's very important, right? The average is the average satisfaction levels of all the areas of my life, right? So this effectively reflects how is my life doing compared to perfection, right? So if 100% is perfection, my life just now is 70% of where I'd like it to be. There's certain things that are working, there's certain things I need to work on. This is what we call in our programs the game of life score. So if you're doing our programs, we may well talk about that in some of our exercises, right? Let me now move to the roadmap, right? What is the roadmap? Okay, here we are in the roadmap. Now, I find it hard to track all my 20 goals, 30 goals throughout the year, right? And so what I'm doing is I just want to focus on 2 or 3 for this entire. What are the 2 or 3 biggest things that I just want to get done this year at the top of mind, big, hairy, audacious goals? So one, for example, is move our business to selling only virtual programs. We get a lot of our business through in-person programs, and a lot of our clients have a preference for in-person programs. But we really believe in the power of virtual programs, and we believe we can be a niche player and be one of the best in the world in this specific area. That's where we want to get into, which is going to be requiring us to walk away from a lot of business and do a lot of education and marketing and selling. So that is a big goal that's going to be there throughout the year, right? Writing a book, The Greatest Story Ever, getting to LinkedIn 100,000. I don't know how I'm going to do that just now. I'm just learning a little bit about social media. So that's something I want to learn about. And for these big goals, I've got them broken down into quarters. So This is DQ December quarter 2022. That's October, November, December, March quarter, June quarter, September quarter, and when I get around to it, I'll have a DQ 2023, right? So this is the year ahead, and within each of these cards, you can see I've got one line for each month. So November, for example, the first thing I want to do is I want to complete the design of this app. I want to do daily LinkedIn posts. I have a few clients that I'm working on, right? December, I want to integrate this app into part of our programs. I need to start working on the corporate website to really focus on our virtual programs, etc. So month by month, I complete this. And so now I have a clear idea that every single month, what am I doing? January, I'm doing this. February, I'm doing this. It's not like I'm just doing the same thing every day, day on day. I have a very clear roadmap for where I'm going. Or at least I'd like to believe that that's something that I found quite useful. The next thing we do is we break it down into short-term to-dos. So from my roadmap, let me go to to-dos, okay? And there are two ways of looking at my to-dos. There's the Kanban and the task list view, right? So let me first talk about Kanban, which is basically, you've got these different buckets over here, the things that I'm gonna do today or tomorrow, next 7 days for me, not this week, maybe sometime this month, and something that I really, at some point, I want to take my kids to the World Cup in 2026 maybe, so I'm going to plan for that a little bit later, right? Now, let me put in a new to-do list over here, right? A new to-do item. So let's say, and I shouldn't be doing this on a to-do list, but anyway, let me put it. My son is coming back from Singapore after a football tournament today, so let's say pick up KU from airport, right? Just doing it as an illustration. Add due date, it's today. I can put in a reminder over here as well, right? So I can put a reminder on day event whenever I'm putting it. Also, if I want a specific time, I can include a time, and then my reminders can be even more specific, right? But let me just leave that. I don't really need a reminder just now. If you have the desktop app or a phone app, this will give you reminders, but if you're just accessing Notion through the website, you won't get reminders. So that's one of the advantages of having the desktop app, right? So let's see, I have put in pick up KU from the airport. The domain is my personal life, right? And why is that important? Why am I putting that domain? Because sometimes I'm at work and I just want to focus on what I need to get done at work, right? So here are only my work to-dos. Now, I can also have all of them just now. So if I just remove that filter, I've got both my personal and work. And maybe at the end of the day, after I finish my work, I wanted to see what do I still need to do in my personal life. Okay, here it is, pick up Kayan from the airport. If I want to delete this, I right click and delete it. That's one way of doing it. Now I have a duplicate entry, which I'd made earlier when I was practicing. The other thing I can do is I can just click this done checkbox and it's gone, right? Now it hasn't been deleted. It's been put in the done folder. So if I want to see that, instead of filtering it by unchecked, I'll filter it by checked, and there it is. And if I unclick the done, and then I move the filter back to unchecked, there I can see it again over here, pick up Kayan for the airport. So let me just delete this time, right? So this is how we look at the Kanban view. Let's say, let me look to work to show you how to move things around, right? So let's say I am re-recording this video because I didn't like the way it was the first time. I'm getting tired, I've run out of time, I need to go pick up my son. So instead of doing it just now, let me do it next week. I can just drag this over here, or I can just move it back, right? Now these buckets, this is how I'm sorting it, but you can easily just change the headings to whatever works for you. I have one bucket for things I'm going to do today, if not today, tomorrow. Then there are things that I'm going to be doing next week. So I'm going to send, Avantika and Girish the link so that they can practice on the app and give me their feedback, etc. Then after they've tested it, maybe next month what I'm going to do is incorporate this app into part of our virtual program, etc. Right? So move it around. This is one way of viewing it. And you can see the same thing on the mobile as well, right? So if I look on the mobile, it's exactly the same thing. I can drag and drop. I can click on this, change it exactly the same way that I can on the desktop version, right? The other way of looking at it is on the task list, and you can use whichever one you prefer. So over here, for example, all the to-dos are in a table format, and again, I can sort it over here, right? So for example, if I want to see the things for the coming week and today or tomorrow, I can put that, or I can just say, no, I just want to focus on really the urgent stuff that I want to get done today or tomorrow, and in fact, I just want to focus on, not done, etc. I want to just focus on my work because I'm still at office. So here are the things. There may be a due date. There may not be a due date on this. Really depends. I usually don't do due date. Due date. Well, oh my God. I don't normally do a due date unless it's some external commitment, like I need to submit something by a certain time, right? Because otherwise, I just keep it today or tomorrow or based on that bucket, right? Those are the to-dos, right? Again, all these pages will have a show description at the top. You can click on that to just find out what the page is about, and all the instructions are how to create, how to delete, how to sort, etc. That's all there, right? One other really cool feature that Notion has implemented just this week, in fact, is the recurring tasks function. So what I'm going to do is, instead of creating a new task over here, I'm going to go to this drop-down menu, and I'm going to create a recurring task. So you can see over here are all my recurring tasks. So first, let me create the task that I want to recur on a regular basis. So let's say read a chapter of Stormlight series. Okay, I'm trying to get back into fiction. That's obviously personal. And when this task comes up, I want it to be marked as something that I want to do on that day, because this is something I want to do every day, right? Go back. Now you can see over here, the template is come. So every time I click on this, that task will automatically appear because from the template, but it's not recurring like these other ones. So what I want to do over here is go to repeat, and I switch that on and put it every day. Okay. Now over here, you can see it's 11:08 just now. So let me put that as 11:09. Okay. And I'll save it. And what I'll do is I'll go to this. Just now I'm showing only my personal task. So let me move to, sorry, it's showing only my work task. Let me move to personal. And what will happen is when this becomes 11:09, then you can see that it'll automatically create this to-do over here exactly at that time. So you can do it like, say, at 6 o'clock every day. I want to like exercise or read a book, etc. This will automatically populate my to-do at that time, and then I can check it off. Yes, I've done this. And of course, for work as well, I might have something like, say, the PO file, the purchase order file. If I go in and look at this, it's every month on 15th November. I better change that, otherwise Girish is going to kill me. Every 15th of the month, I'll need to check my purchase orders are up to date, and it'll just pop up at that time. So I think this is a really cool feature that Notion has just added. The next thing I'm going to look at is the habits, right? So let me go to habits, and on my mobile as well, I'll go to the habits page over here. Okay, now here you can see I've got 6 habits that I'm tracking. You will start off with a couple of, maybe a couple of habits, and you can just highlight the title and just change it, right? So computer, for example, you can just change it over there. You can change the icon. Now what I'm going to do is let me expand these habits to show you how it looks. I'm just going to highlight them all and then click on the toggle, and I can see all the habits kind of appear. Over here, you can see I can track when I have been working on the app, for example, whenever I've been exercising, I've been traveling. I haven't been doing any LinkedIn or writing just now, just not focusing on that for this month, right? Just focusing on completing this app and exercising, and I've been traveling to Singapore, so that's why I'm feeling a little bit guilty, and it's not that high, right? Now, I can tick these off: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and over here is Saturday and Sunday. Normally, when I have the desktop in the full version, you can see that in the entire week. Over here are the week numbers, right? So I put it 31st October, 7th November, 14th November. So I know which month, which week or which date each one of these boxes is. If I forget, I can just expand on the calendar, and I can see the dates over here: 31st December, 7th November, etc. And I can just put them in when I'm tracking it, right? Now, if I reach the end of the month, right, and I want to start again, well, what I can do is I can just highlight these boxes, right? So let me highlight all these boxes, and I press delete, and there you can see all the boxes are, all the checks are gone, and I can start monitoring again. But let me just undo that so I have this record here. Similarly, if you want to create, let me just minimize all these. Again, I'm going to highlight all these boxes and just toggle them down. Okay. If you want to create one from scratch, you can just click this button over here, right? So click create a habit to be tracked for the month. You click this, and it will create the habit name. You can change the habit name. You can put in your icons over here. You can put in the week numbers, and you can drag them. You can even create different columns. So if I put column over here, I can put in 2 columns, 3 columns, however you want to see them, basically, right? So that's one of the advantage of Notions. It's very flexible and versatile. You can use it in many different ways. It's a document. You can structure it however you want. Let me tell you a little bit about how I use the notes function over here. So should I go on the mobile? Okay, here's on the mobile. Here it is on my desktop. I'll show it on my desktop. It's slightly easier, okay? So in the notes, again, you have the instructions over here for how to use the notes. You can put any notes you want over here, right? So over here, I'm taking Filmora notes, how to record some of these videos, etc. Any notes you want, how to, let me give you an example of some of the things you can do. So Praxeum, one of the default notes you're going to get as part of this app is all the videos and stuff that we've done as part of a Praxeum leadership program. Some of you would have attended the program. Others of you should be heading that way soon. But underneath over here, it says, what is Praxeum? It's got all the videos that anybody who's done our program would have done. They're all over here. And you can put different levels of hierarchy. So you've got these notes, but underneath these notes, you can have subnotes. So if I create, let's say subnote here, right? And I can just write anything that I want, right? Empty page, let's say, and I can write anything I want over here. Now, if I look back, I can see where have I put that subnote, right? I have put that subnote somewhere, right? So let me see, notes, oh, here we go. Here's the subnote, right? Let me just delete this. So here's a subnote. Inside this, I can create a subnote, right? So I can put a / page, right? And I'll put a subnote, right? And if I come out over here, you can see there is a subnote over here. So you can have several layers of hierarchy. In fact, infinite number of subnotes that you want. You can effectively create your own Wikipedia over here, right? So let me give you an example. Let me just delete this proliferation of subnotes over there. Another example of the sort of thing that I'm using it for example, here is movies, books, etc. that I've watched. So I usually watch it in the gallery view, but here are the titles, whether it's a TV series, movie, book, am I going to watch it, is on my to-do list, or have I already done it? When did I watch it? What is my rating, my comments, my learnings? I usually keep it in this format where I can see all the posters, etc. It's just a nice way of doing it. So you can keep notes for finances, for exercises, for medicine, for gardening, for recipes, etc. This is a place which I found very useful, is just dropping notes, right? So the next thing I'm going to show you is the journal. The journal is where you can document your learnings. It's closing the loops, your learnings, your reflections, what you want to create in your life, the narrative of your life, you can kind of create it over here. So what you can do, again, there are many different ways of looking at it, but let me see. For recently, I'm going to pick up Kayan today from the airport, but I picked up Kaizu a few days ago. We went to Singapore. He had his football tournament. Kayan has it just now. So I would record all the pictures I have, what happened in the matches, all my memories are here in the journal, right? All my learnings, etc. And every day I put a few pictures. Now, if you put pictures in, they show up in the gallery view really nicely, but maybe you don't take as many pictures as I do. A table view might be fine over here. So it's got the date, it's got all the stuff that you wrote on that day with the content over here, and it's got a rating. So which are the days that are good for me, which ones are the bad, which ones are terrible. If you don't want to use a habit tracker, you can just say, okay, the days that I did different things. You can create your own ones, by the way. It doesn't have to be the ones that I put. So this is the journal. You can also look at it in the calendar format. So if that's something that you prefer doing, you can have a look at that. One of the other things that I'd like to talk you through is accessibility on the mobile, right? So here's the my phone. Let me look at my phone, and this is my home screen on my phone, which is a little bit complicated, so don't worry about that. That's just my launcher. But one of the things I want to show you is on any Android or iPhone, you can add widgets that make it easy to get to this app, right? So for example, let me add an Android widget. And if I go to Notion over here, you can see there's a page icon over here, right? And let's say I want to set up a widget for notes. I can also do a search for this, right? So let's say any page that you want to create a shortcut for, I can click on that notes and click on done. And now over here, what you'll see in a while is a shortcut will appear, right? And I can resize that however I want, right? Whichever ones you use most frequently. So you can see over here, I have got to-dos, journals, and the game of life, the overall thing, however you want to do it. Let me just put this, and my OCD is kicking in, right? So you can put that, and it becomes very easy to go directly to your notes or to your journal, etc. It goes directly there. One of the problems with Notion that I'd like to kind of like warn you about is that it's a web-based app, right? So it doesn't store the data offline. So you can use it very well when you're connected to the internet. And so I've never had a problem. I've had Wi-Fi in Mumbai. My phone connection is usually fine. But if you're, for example, going for a 2-week trip to Bandipur National Forest, you won't have reception, then you can't use this app. Or if you have a 15-hour flight, don't expect to get any work done on this, right? Or I wouldn't use this for when I really need information right there. So for example, if I'm doing an international trip, I don't have my hotel details when I get off at midnight on the phone because maybe I don't have reception straight away when I get off in a new country, etc. So I'd want that data stored somewhere else. Notion is working on trying to create offline capability, and so maybe they'll develop that, but I wouldn't hold your breath for that just now because it is difficult given the way that they structured the app, so it might take a little bit of time. The final thing I'd like to talk you through is, if I go back to the main page, are the app instructions. So the final page at the bottom is the app instructions over there. On the desktop, it's over there. And what you'll see over there is this video. So once I'm done with this video, I'll put it over there. So if you ever forget about how to use the app or any of the instructions, you do have it at the top of all these pages, like I said. So on the journal, for example, you can see show description, click on that, and you can see the instructions for that specific page. But if you want to watch this video again, it'll be there. I'll also put in one more video, which is just how to use Notion. It's a very flexible tool. It's a document you can use in many different ways. You can change the cover pictures. You can change the icons. You can put your family pictures there instead of the Stillwater pictures. So you can really make it work for you, add a whole bunch of different pages. There are lots of templates, like you've imported the Stillwater template. There are lots of templates out there. So I'll put in another video which tells you a little bit how to use this app, and I hope it's useful for you. I have found it very, very useful in managing my life. It takes a conscious effort to develop the habit of using it, but I've been doing this in some format or the other for a number of years, and I think this is one of the most powerful things that I do for myself. Really allows me to stay top of all the things in my life that I really want and move in that direction. So best of luck with that. I'll see you soon.